All right, I want to call to order the best Rotary Club in the, and Daryl, can you do our invocation today? Over here to the left, there we go.
Our Heavenly Father, we bow before Thee in this beautiful day and thank Thee for the opportunity to gather together as Rotarians and guests. We're grateful for these young people who and their achievements, and we thank Thee for the food and pray that Thou will bless it to our bodies for strength, and ask for Thy continued blessing of enjoyment of our association and for our being able to contribute to our community and do so in the name of Thy Son. Amen.
All right, thank you. And do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we're going to do a vote. Do we want to do the four-way test? If you do, say aye. If you don't, say nay. Oh, we're going to do the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it build beneficial to all concerned? And we're going to vote on the song. If we want to do a song, let's hear aye. If we don't want to do a song, let's hear a nay. Oh, I think the nays have it. Let me take some notes there. And before we get rolling here, so we've been creeping back the time to start. We started at 12, well, it was 12:11 today. I started a little bit late. I want to start at 12:10. Do we want, with the hope and with approval of the club, and if they want to, I'd eventually like to get us back to starting at noon, but I don't want to start at noon when people think they've got until 12:15 to get here. Is 12:10 good right now? 12:05, 12 o'clock. I know that there's been some people that said, let's start at 12. No? So 11:30, probably not going to go. So I'm going to throw that back out on the club on email because we've got a fairly short group today. But something to think about if we want to try to start earlier or keep it where it's at, whatever we want to do. I still want to get to the point where we're done by 1 eventually. And have a seat. Keith was trying to indicate that to me, but I wasn't getting it. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? No visiting Rotarians. Do we have guests of Rotarians other than spouses for and students of the month or anniversaries? All right. We're moving on to club business. And we are going to start off right off. Hey, Carrie, are you ready to roll? I already talked to them about memorizing their speech and all that. So they had the panic look for a moment, but you're up.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm going to say this once again, as it truly is such a privilege to be standing here with our what I consider the best of our graduating senior class, and also for you giving us the opportunity to share with you just how special these students are. So thank you for this opportunity. It means quite a lot for our high school staff. I have the honor to introduce our first honoree today, and that is Miss Yaretzi Torres. Yaretzi is the daughter of Alicia Torres and Antonio Torres. Yaretzi has maintained a 3.6 GPA while being actively involved in our high school throughout all 4 years. She has cheered for football as well as winter cheer and competition cheer. Yaretzi is involved in tennis and mariachi, as well as serving as vice president of our National Honor Society chapter. She is a member of Varsity and Volunteerism, HOSA, which is our sports medicine team, Cub Crew, and also an honor roll student all 4 years. years. Yaretzi is described by staff as a vibrant and kind, and her coaches describe her as bringing energy, positivity, and encouragement to her teammates, school, and community, saying, "We have loved having her as part of our team and are excited to see what is next for her." Outside of school, Yaretzi enjoys going on hikes and kayaking. Her best high school memory is cheering at Friday Night Lights. Yaretzi's favorite quote comes from Taylor Swift. And the quote is, "Never be so kind you forget to be clever, and never be so clever that you forget to be kind." So I am just honored to have Yaretzi come. Yaretzi, if you can share who's here with you today, and also what you plan to do after graduation.
Okay. So I plan to either attend Skagit Valley College or Whatcom Community College, and then transfer to Western to study kinesiology and become a physical therapist.
Our next honoree is Brodan. Today we are honoring Brodan Weems. Brodan is the son of Sarah Allen Weems and Brian Todd Weems. Brodan has maintained a GPA of 3.74 while being active in our high school. Staff describe Brodan as a, quote, shower-upper in life, dependable, diligent, resilient, articulate, strong, and kind. He has participated in 4 years of cross-country, 3 years of track and field, and STEAM club during his high school years. He's also taken a number of college in the high school classes and advanced placement classes. Outside of school, Brodan's interests include running, hiking, camping, and really just being outside. He enjoys fishing, traveling, and ziplining. He has worked for 3 years at the YMCA Camp Anderson and as a summer camp counselor. And he's also counseled for our Camp Orkila students. How many years? 3? Just this year. Perfect. Brodan's best high school memory is running up Lyman Hill with his friends and teammate Ramado during cross-country season this year. The Lyman Run is a Cubs tradition, a hill grind the team runs every season. When asked what his advice to his younger self would be, Brodan said to himself, "Don't be afraid to push yourself further than you think you can go, because pushing yourself is the only way you grow and become better." So at this time, I'd like to have Brodan share who's here with him today and also where he plans to go after graduation.
Here today for me is my mom, Sarah, and my dad, Brian, and I plan to go to Skagit Valley Community College for 2 years to get my engineering transfer degree, and then transfer to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical to finish up my aerospace engineering degree.
Again, I just want to thank Rotary. I'm just so very proud of Yaretzi and Brodan. They just are rounding out our last celebration of our Students of the Month. And so thank you for this opportunity once again. And congratulations, parents. We are grateful for the work that you do to help them get here. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Carrie. Appreciate it. Good to see our another group of good students showing up today. Moving on, we have Yulia, Anniversaries.
Indeed, such a beautiful month to have an anniversary. What could be better? You've got peonies, you've got lilacs. It's just gorgeous, and it's a beautiful sunny day as well. We have 4 couples who are celebrating their anniversary in the month of May. We've got Daryl and Betty, who are not going to be here today. They're gallivanting somewhere. But we have 3 other representatives who are here today. And I'm going to start with it's so special when spouses do make it to the meeting. Thank you so much, Anne, for coming. And Tip and Anne are celebrating their anniversary in May. They're going to tell you all about it.
On the 29th, next Friday, we're celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary, which is kind of hard to believe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being there. What a special date, 50 years. My goodness, what is it? It's gold, right? Isn't it? Yeah, I think it is gold. Congratulations, you guys. Well, made it that far and happy. That's special. We have Todd and Anna, I believe, celebrating it in May as well.
She'll really love this. So I've known my wife for about 46 years, pretty much almost her entire life. So that's always an interesting aspect. When I was lucky enough to have her say yes to date me and go out with me, and then eventually marry me, she was in college, and I said, "Well, what are you studying?" And she works for the fabulous school district of Sedro-Woolley, just so you know. But she was studying elementary and special ed, and I knew right then and there that was my cup of tea, because she would have the patience to tolerate me.
Thank you so much, Todd, and happy anniversary. And please give a big hug to Anne for us. Thank you. Well, and guess what? Our very special person here also happens to have anniversary.
That's it.
Mr. President.
All right. Well, thank you.
You have your own microphone.
I got my own mic. So as of the 31st, it will be our 40th anniversary. I was a young 19-year-old in between schools in the Navy whenever she agreed. We had just enough time for me to drive home in my beat-up old Camaro, load her up in a tiny little U-Haul, and move her to crappy base housing in Millington, Tennessee. Best thing that ever happened to me. Everything that I've got now, all the good things in my life, were all because of some decisions I made when I was 19. I married young and married well. I don't know if she did as well as I did, but you'll have to ask her that if you see her. We have our two daughters, both of them right here in town. One of them works for the city. Kelly's the finance director, and Tasha is a accounts payable person with a ice cream company, which I keep thinking that's going to get me to score some good ice cream, but I haven't seen much of that yet. And the two little grandchildren. So all the good things in life were from decisions I made back in the 1980s, and they were good decisions.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Lynn. Happy anniversary.
All right. Thank you, and congratulations to everybody else. And then moving on your table in front of you, we have our newest prospective member, Jessica Espy. This is our second week of posting her. If there's any information that you want to share that says, "Oh no, don't pick her, she's a problem," let me know. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at inducting her. And Louis, were you going to try to do her induction next week if we can get her here? Got it. We were going to try to do that last week, but I told Louis we hadn't given everybody the opportunity to talk about her. So now that we've had an opportunity to talk about her, we'll do her induction if everything goes well. I'll be doing the stocking of the food pantry down at State Street, and I'll be stopping at State Street, and I'll be going to the high school as well right after this meeting. Saturday, May 16th, was our Rotary International Epic Wet Day of Service. Those of us that went and worked down at Camp Anderson to do some weed whacking, we had Josh, Louie, me, and Travis were all down there. And we need to get a Rotary duck pin or something for doing these service projects in the rain. It didn't rain as much as it rained last year, but it just poured the entire time we were there. But we had a good time and got a lot of stuff done, and it was a good experience. Coming up on Saturday, May 30th at 11 a.m., is the dedication of Will's Bridge. Will's Bridge is that bridge that the Janicki folks put together and installed out there at Olmsted Park. And a beautiful bridge. I think you could drive a tank over the thing though, but it's like a one wide enough for a golf cart to go across. Rotary assisted a little bit in that by providing some funds for the planning and engineering of that, but otherwise that was a bridge that was put together by the Janicki folks in remembrance of a friend they lost way too early. If you haven't seen it yet, if you could RSVP to Curtis Melder at curtis.melder@janicki.com or ask me for the info. They're asking for RSVPs to see, I guess, how much space they need. And Carl, you had a quick announcement?
Fellow Rotarians, this is another grant opportunity that I've always consistently promoted for maybe almost 20 years to ask Sedro-Woolley if you need money for global grants, especially if you're in the district that we're in, because global grants give 3.5 times whatever the clubs put in, they get in matching grants. It's a great program. This particular one started 3 or 4 years ago, and it's to build libraries and it'll be a train the trainer element to it. It's going to have promoting reading and writing in the North Peru for people that don't have access to basic things like reading and writing. And so I think it's a great project. It's headed up by a super Rotarian, Carol Tickleman, who was a past district governor of our district and is a Rotary member, very active member of the Chilliwack Club. And they're asking for $2,000. Chilliwack is putting in $34,000, so they've got a lot of skin in the game here. And the total grant value is $103,000. And so it's a great project. And Teak and I discussed this. I haven't got Paul's input, but we're hoping that our club can chip in the requested $2,000 and make this happen. And so if you have any questions or concerns or comments, let me know, but I'm going to proceed in that regard. And we have the budget in next year's fund to do this, and so we'd like to do it.
Perfect. Thank you, Carl. And let's see. Do we have anything else from the floor other than we have you got the information is up, Neil, on the foot race, and we had a little bit to do with donating some money to the city to putting in a gate. So they're going to put the information on routing people a little bit different. For those that end up working the foot race, the day of the foot race, directing traffic or stopping traffic, you only see a tiny part of how big a pain in the ass that whole thing is, the whole 4th of July. But hopefully with the city getting this new gate in for funneling people in and out, it's going to help alleviate some of that. We were working on the foot race running right up until the last person crossed the finish line, and then the parade would start. And then people would try to leave and all that. It was it was, for many years, everybody seemed to have fun on the 4th of July. Never did. Never did. Now I have fun on the 4th of July. It's a lot of fun. So we got a lot of good things coming. We've got a lot of things on our plate. We'll be hearing more about the foot race and hopefully our parade or our stations that we're going to be standing here in the next couple of weeks. And anything else? Anything from the floor? Nothing else from the floor? And we forgot to. I know I asked for visiting Rotarians. Mary's here today as a visiting Rotarian from work. And if she notices on my team May, I have a captain. Chris Rothenbuehler, Mark Venn, and the Honorable Mary Crandall. So that's what we need to change your name in the book. All right. So we have a raffle. All right.
We do. How many numbers do we want to do, Lynn? 2, 3, 3. All right. All right, first number we got is 37 and 37. He was here first. You picked the first number. And we got 25 cash. And he's putting it back in. All right.
Thank you,
Keith. All right, next number up is N31. N31. All right.
Let's see if he can win something else to give the wife for his anniversary.
Beer. Good choice.
There we go. All right.
Okay, last number, we've got 071. 071. All right. And we got the wine. All right, that's it.
So I just got a couple of things for Sergeant at Arms, and then Chris is going to take over and kind of do a little Sergeant at Arms thing, and and our Happy Bucks. So first off, if you were at the work party on Saturday in the rain, that will be $1. If you were not at the work party and remained relatively dry that day, that will be $2. And I was going to, let's see, who sees Aldi on a regular basis? You do? That'll be $1. I get this in my mail with Aldi right on the front cover of the Health Quest, a publication of Skagit Regional Health. Most of the mail in my house is directed to me, but yes, that'd be $1. Okay. It would have cost him a lot more if he'd showed up. Nope. No, Aldi almost always gets fined because he's Aldi and it's a full-time job. All right, and with that, Chris?
Okay, well, instead of Sergeant of Arms, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a 20, and I'm just going to pass the hat. So if you got fines or you got something happy to say, or you just want to do a shout out, I got an extra 5 for our students of the month to say a little something about what they might be happy about too. So let's pass it around.
And if you need to get up and make an announcement for your Happy Bucks, go right ahead.
I just put $5 in there. I don't, yeah.
All right. Not much to say over there. How about over here? All right.
My son and Daryl's grandson will be here today, so I'm super happy about that.
How about you, Louie? You happy about anything today? All right.
We started remodeling at our house on April 21st of last year, and the last contractor left April 21st of this year.
They all came over to my house, huh, Louie? All right, let's go over here.
I put in a happy 20. Last time you all saw me in person, I was a commissioner. Now I'm a judge. Just made it through filing week, first week of May. No one filed against me, so you got to deal with me for the next 2 years. Congratulations.
Two things. Number one is a happy 50 for our 50th anniversary. She put up with me for 50 years. And the second thing was we got to go down to the Phoenix area for graduation of our oldest grandson from high school. And he's all set to go to Arizona State University and some sort of finance degree, business school. Okay. In finance. So we had a nice warm time. It's cold here now. It was up to 112 when we arrived in Phoenix.
Before I hand this over for happy bucks to Yulia, Steve, can you throw in a couple bucks for just ruining our pass the hat and dumping it all out on the table in front of you, please? Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just wanted to share that we have, well, it's kind of 2 in 1 because we have 2 sets of grandparents, Carl and I, and I'm so grateful that he suggested a year ago when I traveled to Russia to visit my mom because she wasn't doing very well, and I stayed there for about a month. I'm grateful that I was able to do that and reconnect. And it was super special. She's feeling so much better, and she's done so much better over the year now that it's a new spring, and she's smiling. And Carl encouraged me to try and call her every day. I didn't think it was doable, but we did it. And it completely changed our life and our relationship. And she's grateful every day. And she thanks me for remembering her. How could I forget? I don't know. But that's something in her mind. I am forever grateful. I have the best mom ever. She's been a firebug all her life. And now she doesn't go out much, but she's still very, very supportive of everything that we are doing, even though we are on a completely different side of the planet. And then we have Carl's parents who are now here close to us, and Carl stops every lunch and has lunch with them at the creekside. And yesterday, Pops stopped by and picked up the clubs, and he decided that he's going to get even more active and start doing something and moving. And we're just so grateful to have our parents still with us.
So my dad gets Yulia's clubs because Dad has one arm and he likes the shorter club of a woman. It just works better with one arm. So he's 89 years old, and I got him out there on the practice tee out at Avalon last night, and he's just, I can hear and the ball's going like 50 yards. And he was all disappointed that he was only hitting it 50 to 75 yards last night at 89. Because he used to be able to hit it 150 with one arm. And it was just awesome that he was out there getting exercise.
Okay, so first I put in $40 into Venmo. Congratulations, Yaretzi and Brodan, on Rotary Students of the Month. It's truly an honor to celebrate you and your accomplishments, and Mom and Dad. Also, I want to share that, and I'm going to put in 10 because they're going to tell us what they're happy about, our students. But we have our #1 fast pitch team, ranked #1 in the state, left this morning. They're headed down to Lacey. They will compete tomorrow morning at 11 is their first match. They get a bye, so they don't start until 11, and then it goes all day tomorrow and then all day on Saturday. We also have our district team for track headed down to districts. They competed yesterday. We had several state qualifiers already. They're going again tomorrow. And then we had 3 golfers. We had Katie on the girls' side. She just participated in state. And 2 boys. We had Riley and Colton. And so we just have phenomenal showings in the 3A. And it's been a huge step up moving from 2A to 3A, and our students just keep getting better and better and showing up. And so not only on the academic side, but also just competing in athletics. So I just wanted to share, if you get a chance, follow our fast pitch team and watch our pitcher on the mound. You will not see a more calm, confident athlete leading that team. She's a senior. Her name's Cassandra Gonzalez. She's one of the best you'll ever see in the game. So, and then just combined the way that they work together, it's fabulous. So I want to pass the mic off because I put a 10 in for Yaretzi and Brodan to share what they're happy about. So we'll start with Yaretzi.
I'm happy to be graduating soon, but I'm also just very grateful for the opportunities that I got at the high school.
And I'm happy that there's 9 days left till graduation. And to be here and get this I'm very happy to be honored with this award and all this. So thank you guys.
All right, so I wanted to make one quick comment. So I don't know if this is a strength that have kept Teak and Ann married for so long or not, but as I was driving home here a couple weeks ago, Ann is just power walking up the hill. She is just zooming. And there's this old man standing behind her trying to untangle the dogs from around his legs and just trying to keep up. So I don't know if that's the norm, if that's what's keeping the spice in life or what, but it was good to see. It was awful good to see. So it's time, if you guys want to take off, we're going to be doing club business here. And it's time for any other early leavers. If you want to leave a couple of bucks at the front desk, and I already told them they don't have to. But we're going to get into a quick discussion since our program failed on us this week. Unless you want to do a solo mariachi band thing. No. Oh, okay. We were looking forward to hearing you guys. Yep. Okay. Perfect. I'm so sorry about that. Oh. Life happens. And then are we presenting the Rotary scholarship winners next? I have no idea. Okay. You should talk to somebody in charge. Got it. We'll find out. Yeah, I'll find out from. And when were you thinking? Okay, I'll find out from Jeff and good to go. All right, so I hate to do this 2 weeks in a row that we had more administrative discussions because we kind of did it. That was pretty much all we were working on last week. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today, since we have just a few minutes here, I don't want to take a whole lot of time because really you can email me, but I do want to hear from folks. So we've talked about this on the board level. We've been dancing around this for a while, but it's the calendar keeps ticking off days, and pretty soon we're going to be into dues will be due. So what we figured out, and just a little back of the napkin math, I am not an accountant. I married one, and you have an accountant coming up as the next president, and he's going to have to figure out all the details of this, but we haven't got an exact number for what our budget, our expenditures are planned to be. But what we did figure out, a little back of the napkin math that Ruth and Travis and I did here a few months ago, was we need about between $350 and $400 per member to cover costs, cover our Rotary International dues and all that. We've been covering a lot of that with fines and happy bucks and such. But right now, we're getting feedback back. Travis sent out those questionnaires, which are giving us a lot of good feedback. Some of the feedback I know he's probably shared with you. When we ask a question, we got one group of people that responds, yes, we definitely need to do this. And almost an equal amount say, no, don't ever do that, or the world is going to end. But I think that's what you get every time that you work with a bunch of adults. So we really need to figure out exactly what we're going to do about dues. And we've thrown out there, if we end up bumping our dues up to between $350 and $400, some folks are thinking $400 is a great number. Some people thinking 350 is probably a little bit more equitable for everybody to be able to carry on. But if we do that, then what we're looking at is no more collecting fines. It'll just be happy bucks and stuff like that. So we do have other mechanisms for funding the things that we need to fund. And some of the things that we are funding with these fines and happy bucks are the salmon barbecue, installation, Christmas party, paying for the guests that we have, and so on. So those things add up pretty quick. We could start charging for attendance at some of those. And that's a doable thing as well. So that's another option that we're throwing out there. We'll probably still need to raise dues to a certain amount. We have not determined this. I know the concern was expressed that, that somebody's just making this decision. Well, whenever we're throwing this stuff out, we actually speak about it as a board, and then it's Travis's fault. That's really what it comes down to. But we really do want the club's input on some of these things we're doing. And some of the things we do, trying some changes, really require just, is that what we want to do? Like voting on whether we want to have a song. That's a pretty easy one to do. And we start getting feedback of, no, we don't. Had a pretty strong response back, and we wanted to keep the four-way test for right now. So those are pretty easy things. But when it comes down to these kind of things, we want the whole club's input. And what I anticipate doing is whatever we come up with as a decision, we're going to discuss it as a board and then bring it to the club for a vote, because this is a significant decision, a significant change. So let's see. We got a couple of different options there, collecting money for basically buying a ticket to get into the salmon barbecue and some of these other things, which isn't a bad idea. It just, everything that we do takes an extra body to figure this out. If we have, we're going to run into some of the same problems that we have now, is not necessarily that people can't afford some of this stuff, but what do you charge for a salmon barbecue to figure it out? We can figure that out if we sit down with the numbers, but trying to track down people, paying at the door, paying in advance. If you've tried to collect money from adults, it can be difficult at times. You just forget. It takes us months sometimes to get dues paid. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration when we're thinking about what we want to do and how we want to do it. So really, I want to give you guys just probably 2 or 3 minutes at the table to talk amongst yourselves. And we got 3 questions I want to ask. So do we raise dues? We're currently at $225 per member. So do we raise dues? Do we do the bare minimum and go $350, or we go $400 and have a little more room to grow? And another question, or present any other alternative, like I had mentioned. And the biggest question, I think, is, are we going to lose members? If we bump dues up, are we going to lose members? And I think that's a significant question. And Steve, do we have anybody, is there any reduced membership for anybody? As I've never really thought much about that. Do we have like a senior discount or anything like that? We do have the ability to do that, and if we have been doing that. So we have that ability, and we can decide whatever we want. But yeah, we want to, once again, we want to be cognizant of the fact that whatever we do requires somebody to do it as well. So we have a treasurer who has has a little bit of time to do treasurer type stuff, but I think he does a lot more golf than, especially this time of year. So if you could take 2 or 3 minutes, kick it around at your table, I'll come back, and I plan on being out of here by, or shutting things down by 1 o'clock. Todd. No, if we're at $400 and we still have happy bucks, I think we continue on with the way we've been going, and we don't charge for any of those other things. If we decide we don't want to go to $400, then we'll have to do the figuring on exactly how much we would have to charge for some of those things. And that's, and once again, that is not with an actual accounting of it, but that's what we've kind of figured. That's going to be pretty close to covering all of our bills. And that might give us just a little bit of wiggle room to build up a little bit of funds so that, you know, once we move into the next year, yeah, we're going to have a cushion. Right now, we had to kick in a little extra money to make it till the end of June, just to make it. And Steve, how are we doing on the club fund? Are we going to make it?
So right now we got over 6,000 in the bank. And some of you probably remember years ago when I first started, we transferred 20,000 from the club to the foundation, so we could still move some of that. But just giving you an idea, the salmon barbecue, for instance, used to be about 5,000. Now it's over 6,000. Same with the Christmas party, you know. 50/50 dues have gone up substantially, and so has the international dues. So you can't win either way. So.
Got it. Yeah, Keith. I know we're not sending money to Olympia, so just if you're going to ask.
Boy, have I got a tax idea for you. No, I know you want us to discuss it at the table, but as an alternative thought to that, because if we discuss it here, then that table doesn't hear and that table doesn't hear. Can we just do it sort of like we're doing it?
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Does that work better for everybody?
That way everybody hears. So I think the higher dues, of course, there's risk that people will gasp at that, but there's value in it, in its simplicity and its equity. So what I mean by that, I'm in Olympia for a third of the year.
Right.
I don't pay any dues. I don't pay any fines. I don't buy a raffle ticket.
Absolutely.
I don't pay happy bucks for a third of the year. I get off scot-free. So the people who show up end up paying more than their share. That's how I look at it, and
right.
I'm the guilty party. So I would support the higher fee, but we have to explain it to members. If we choose that direction, we have to explain why it's simpler and more equitable. So that's one man's opinion.
Right.
I would be for the higher fee. And of course, I'm always the last one to pay too.
Yeah. Bill.
First of all, I agree completely with Keith, but I have two reasons for getting the dues up to $400 that came to mind immediately. First of all, those of us who attend regularly are subsidizing those that don't come very often, and so they are not paying their fair share. Right. $400 is, first of all, not very much. You know, as you know, it's. I think if we didn't pay fines every week or every time we're here, that would make up for whatever addition we're paying in the dues right there. I don't think
right.
there'd be hardly any difference. So basically what we're saying is we're raising the dues to everybody to $400. We're not going to fine you except maybe for special occasions or something. And it comes out pretty even.
Right. And, you know, something to think about too, it's like people who they get a bump in their pay whenever they go from, let's say, a court commissioner to a judge, then they should be able to afford that bump in the dues.
I will say, as someone who rarely comes to the in-person meetings because I have been randomly sending a check for $250 to the club as my kind of like happy bucks and fines. So it may be too complicated to single out who's coming and not coming. And if
Right.
you're not coming, send your check in. But that's what I've been doing to supplement, and that's also an option.
Oh, Yulia?
Completely agree. It seems like a lot of, it's just not efficient at all. And someone will have to, we all struggle for time, and someone will have to take the burden of figuring it out and then enforcing it. Mr. Enforcer, right? Because how I tried to collect money for the item on the team for the Rotary auction once. Well, I got 3 out of 10. So I am not volunteering, and I wonder who will.
Yeah, we have 2 mics going here. I was on the board for when Rich was president and Phil, and I thought that we discussed a dues increase and approved it as a board and discussed it with the club. What happened? What happened with that there? Are we? It was a couple years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about it now, which is fine. I hate to compare our club to others, but there's another club that's comparable to ours in the county, and our dues are half theirs. Half, less than half, actually. Okay. And on top of that, they still do happy bucks and fines. So seems like we're a little behind there. So I'm all in favor for a dues increase.
I would be highly opposed to trying to sell tickets for events. The person that would be trying to be responsible for catching people at the barbecue would it'd be a nightmare. And I think that's a terrible look anyway, but.
Yeah.
I personally think that, the barbecue is one thing. That's a public event. I mean, kind of public. It's for our families, our children to come to, whereas the Christmas party would be a little bit different.
So I have to disagree with Bill, saying that $400 is not very much. It's relative to how much you make. So some people, $400 is going to be a big jump. My question is, has there ever been a question about whether we could do a payment plan?
Yeah, well, as everybody knows, we have a couple of, we hit on it on that point, kind of, is trying to nail people down and keep track of it. So it's a little bit problematic, but we have not booted people out either that are slow to pay. So there's some wiggle room on all that. It's up to us, not me or Travis, whose fault all of this is. It's not up to any individual. It is us as a group. And if we end up carrying somebody because we didn't connect with them and all that, that's kind of our norm when we need to do that. So I'm sure that something can be worked out. And we do need to have a really good budget lined out, because Ruth did a quick one that kind of laid out what our expenses are. And that was just off the top of her head one night. I don't know when she has time to fit this into all the crap that she does anyway. But I'd like to make sure that we have a good budget written up that covers all this stuff. And when we get together as a board, answer some of these questions like, do we have a payment plan for somebody that is in a bind right now? I'm sure something come up. Or something could be done with that, or we can do, Chris, I think we probably did pretty good at pass the hat today. If we have somebody that's in a true bind, something will get done. I'm guaranteed of that. And we have not booted people out who've stayed engaged. Louis.
Yes. Over the years, I've come to understand the reason why we have certain things that we do. Now, what by that I mean, over the 40-some years I've been in this club, when we started out, it was, the fines thing wasn't a big deal because, we're supposed to be under Robert's Rules of Orders and we got to have a sergeant at arms. But it used to be, I'm talking about sergeant at arms right now, only.
And you're talking about back in the late 1900s?
1830s.
Yeah, there we go.
No. So, but sergeant at arms was something where if there was something that somebody, some accomplishment somebody did, or they needed to be somebody that was recognized, that's where you hit them up as sergeant at arms. The other things were if there are things like a phone going off or somebody was talking when somebody was given a happy buck, that's why you got to have a sergeant of arms, sergeant at arms. And as long as that person that's doing that doesn't overdo it.
Right.
Okay. Now, as far as dues are concerned, I don't mind higher dues. Being on the committee that brings in new members, we always tell the new member, well, you're looking at something around 1,500 or more per year. And they don't have a problem with it. They never say that that's a, no, I can't do that. We've never had anybody say that. There's been a few that I missed, so I don't know if those that have been on, Chuck, maybe, I don't know if you've ever heard it. Ever heard anybody say they couldn't handle Rotary at $1,500 to $2,000 a year, including the auction issues. So my point of being in favor of raising dues and whatever number you come up with, I think it should be high enough that the frustration that the committee has that we're on is that everybody says we can meet all these commitments, including the money, and they don't show up.
Right.
Or they don't show up there. And they just want to hang something on the wall. So if you raise the dues, maybe some of those people will look at that thing on the wall and say, well, maybe I don't want to pay $400 for that thing on my wall.
Right.
And we'll get rid of some of the dead wood, maybe.
Well, and that's one of the things, and I wasn't even talking about getting rid of people that aren't participating, but we're gonna shut her down here in just a minute. We've had a couple of people mention that we've been carrying the load, those of us that show up at meetings regular, whether you can or don't, it doesn't really matter. If you're here and you're participating and you're paying a couple of bucks, if you're coming to all the meetings during the course of the year, it's pretty much going to cover the increase in the dues. So if you spend $2 or $3 for each meeting and we have, say you attend 48 meetings, you're going to end up spending 100, 120 extra bucks. And that's what your dues increase is going to end up being, especially if you're not paying for fines and stuff like that. But our happy bucks are going to probably continue the way they are. And if we have something really special that somebody like Aldi needs to be fined for, then they're probably going to get fined, or somebody retires or something like that. Those are all things that we can do now. Maybe we don't call it a fine anymore. Maybe we call it a special assessment for a party fund. I don't know. But these are all things that we wanted to throw out to the club to get an idea of what the sense of people, what they were thinking. I just heard Ellen just mention that a friend of hers, Roger, is he in the Mount Vernon Club? Do you know? He's in the Roger Ragusa Wells Nursery. He pays $600 a year. Yep. So those are things that we need to keep into consideration. There's clubs down south that spend $1,000, but they end up getting their meals paid for. So there's a lot of different things. We're not going to jump through all those hoops, but we are going to look at the dues increase in that manner. And I think I've got a pretty good sense from this group. I'm going to throw it out on email again. We're going to talk about it at the board. And is there any one last comment? Oh, good Lord. Why did I ask?
Oh, good Lord. My only comment is the secret to a good Rotary Club is a happy Rotary Club. So whatever we do, well, let's do it with great spirit, and let's fund our club so that we're not penny pinching.
Thank you, Carl. That was an excellent point to end on. And let's see, I see if I had one more thing I had to just announce. I think that was it. I wanted to thank students. We excuse them, thank the students. And thank you for coming today, even though you probably had to drag him along today. And thank you for everybody that showed up today. And with that, make sure we clean up and we are adjourned. Oh, and I think, Josh, are we having Cascade Pizza next week? So Cascade Pizza again next week. Cheryl's running off on us for a little week away.